Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Sega Saturn, but more specifically a brand new cable for it to be able to use your system on your modern TV through HDMI. Sounds flippin' sweet, right? So the reason I'm doing this is because Dan B from the Game Beaters, check out his channel, pretty awesome stuff. He recently came up on a Sega Saturn and is looking for the best way to be able to use his system through HDMI, to be able to record, to be able to just play the system, to be able to stream, all that good stuff, right? So I decided, let me go ahead and take the risk on this cable. I'll buy it. I'm a little concerned. I'm a little worried with it, and I don't like people wasting their money on garbage. So today, that's what we're looking at. Is this new cable a viable solution to be able to play your system on your modern TV, or if you're a YouTuber or Twitch streamer, to be able to easily use your Sega Saturn for your videos and streams? So obviously there are tons of different ways to be able to play your Saturn on modern TVs or older TVs. Some of the base options would be something like composite or S-video. You know, lower end, composite definitely is not going to be great. Then you also have, if you're lucky enough to have the HD Retrovision Sega Genesis cables with the Sega Saturn adapters. These are really awesome cables, but they are hard to come by right now because they are not in stock, and on the secondary market they sell for a ton of money. The only real con with this cable, besides the secondary market pricing, is that your TV has to be able to display 240p over a component for them to work. I've never had an issue with any of my TVs using HD Retrovision cables, but some people may, so that's something you need to look into prior to getting these cables. Now, another option would be getting a high quality SCART cable. So in the US, we didn't have SCART. This was a European and Japanese thing, and we don't have an easy way to plug this into our TV. So that leads into the next thing I want to talk about. The different options to use these cables for through HDMI to record or to just play on your TV in a decent way. One option that I think is really sweet would be the RetroTink 2X. It does support component, composite, and S-video. It line doubles. It goes through HDMI to your TV, so you can easily plug this into your modern TV or your capture card. And it does a great job. We will be doing a more in-depth look at this in the very near future. But the only downside for some people would be cost. This is a $100 device. I think that's reasonable for what you are getting. But for some people, especially people who are only wanting to play one system, this might not be that great for them. You know, they may not want to pay $100 just to be able to use their system, in a better way anyway. Another option that is really popular, but a lot of people knock, would be these cheap Chinese converter boxes. Prices range between 20 to 50 bucks depending upon the company selling it, what inputs they have. But these do wind up giving you a lot of input lag, and people don't like that. And the picture quality is not that great in my opinion. I don't use these for anything. I've only used them to compare video footage in the past. But they're an option. Some people don't mind. The one thing with these is they don't work on all capture cards. I actually have several capture cards and they only work on one of them that I have. I just don't use it. The image quality is not that great, and the lag is just horrendous. Now, moving up from all that stuff would be something like an OSSC or a FrameMeister. I don't have a FrameMeister, but I do have an OSSC. This device is flippin' sweet. You have SCART, component, and VGA going through to your TV or capture card via HDMI. Really awesome device. Goes for a couple $100. I think it's worth it, but again, if you only have one system, this may not be something you care for. Even if you only have 2 or maybe 3 systems, this may not be something you want to invest in. A lot of people love this device, myself included. I can't live without it. But again, the price is the biggest setback, especially for people wanting a simple solution. So that's where this new cable comes in. Now, I have my reservations. I have my concerns with this. There's only one person I know of in the US at this time who is selling this HDMI cable for the Saturn. And they're also selling two other cables, one for the NES and one for the SNES. My concern is with a couple of the cables that they're selling, they're using screen captures from My Life in Gaming's footage from their YouTube channel to say, hey, this is what this cable does. And you know that's nonsense. You know that is BS, because the captures they're taking from My Life in Gaming are not captures that use these cables. They're captures from RGB or from, you know, a high-def NES, you know, which was a modded system, that kind of thing. And it's very deceiving to use somebody else's screen captures. That worries me. The other thing, and it's just pure speculation at the moment, is I almost think that these cables, it's just a condensed converter box in here that is very similar to something like this. And I'm having the thought that the output quality may just be similar to what we get with these things. That's a concern. You do have to plug this into USB power for it to work, apparently. There's no instructions, it didn't come with anything. The images online showed a little sticker that said Extreme on it, and My Life in Gaming had mentioned that it looked like, you know, it was just a cheap label and somebody wrote that with crayon, but my cable did not come with that. Looks like there might be a little power indicator light right there. And then we do have the micro USB or mini USB, whatever the hell it's called, for power there. So we're just going to go ahead and test this out. See if this is a viable solution to use our Sega Saturn on an HD TV for purposes of just gaming or for recording or streaming, whatever you want to use it for. The other thing I do want to note is that this cost me $30. I think that's a reasonable price, but again, it's going to depend on the quality we get out of this. So without further ado, let's plug this bad boy in and see if this is money well spent. Let's do it. All right, my guys, so I've got a little montage of video from several games to showcase to you here. Really try to pay close attention to what's going on with the image quality on these games. The very end, I'm going to show a comparison between using this HDMI cable and using SCART via the OSSC. So what we're looking at is this is actually outputting 720p. Now, the biggest thing, and I'm hoping you're noticing this, is there is a jitter. The screen jitters, and this is not just in my recording, this is also on my monitor that I'm playing on. I see this jitter. The other thing is between transitioning of the graphics, I don't know how else to say it, but when things transition or move on screen, there's this transition period of softness to sharpness. And even when an image gets a little sharper, it's still fairly soft, to be honest with you. It's not, you're not getting those tight, sharp pixel edges on any of the games here. But what I noticed with this is very similar to what I had thought. Using those cheap Chinese scalers or converters, whatever the heck you want to call them, I get the same results. I get that jitteriness, I get that blurriness on motion, it's just like a weird jittering. You know, the pixels just jitter, and there's distortions on solid colors that I can see. Not on black screens, surprisingly enough, but like light blues or even dark blues, I'll see a distortion over the colors. It's very noticeable to me. There's a shimmering effect going on. There's quite a few things that are wrong with this. Now, does that necessarily mean this is a bad option for people to use? I don't necessarily want to say that, but for me, looking at this, it really is the same as just going through those Chinese converters and getting that kind of quality. The lag, everything is very similar feeling. And the biggest thing, and you'll probably notice it more so in Street Fighter here than the previous games that I showed, is the screen is actually cut off on the left side. No matter what I do, that is just the way it displays on both my recording and on my TV as I play. the left side is cut off. You can really see it in Street Fighter that the screen jitters, especially on the character select screen. So as you see the bottom left, the power gauge is cut off, the life bar is cut off. That's just the way it is. It's like that no matter how I hook this up to capture card, direct to TV, whatever. So now I'm going to transition this Street Fighter footage to SCART through the OSSC, and this is actually outputting at 480 without going into details on exact settings. It's just set at 480p. To me, this looks a hell of a lot nicer. No jittering, everything's a lot cleaner, and you can actually get a better image than this out of the OSSC, but for recording purposes, I just wanted to go 2x lines. So we're at 480 right now, which would be similar if you were to be using the HD Retrovision cables through the RetroTink 2X, for example. But yeah, this really looks great this way. With the HDMI cable, it's not so great. But is it a viable option for people? Sure, if you want to accept the mediocrity, in my opinion. Having that screen cut off and having the jitteriness just does not do it for me. I don't enjoy playing games not being able to see everything that was meant to be on screen. The jitteriness really bugs my eyes and just bothers me. To me, no, it's not a good option. But for you, it may be. Hopefully other people out there get these cables and do some reviews. I may do some more comparisons if you guys want me to, but I kind of think this footage speaks for itself on what you're actually getting. To have to plug this in through USB power is another downside. That just shows to me that they're using a similar board, probably just condensed down, like I said, in order to utilize this and have it wired up. It seems like it's just one of those cheap converters, just mini-sized and incorporated into the cable. Pretty sure that's what we're getting. I was ready to pull the trigger and buy those NES and Super Nintendo cables if this one impressed me. And being honest with you guys, no, it does not impress me. But for some, it may be cool because then you don't have to buy all that additional equipment. But like I said, those big cons to me, having that screen cut off and having that jitteriness is a no-go for me. And I did try this on 2 other monitors and the screen is cut off on them as well, so it's not just my TV. So I just wanted to point that out. I really do appreciate you guys stopping in, watching this video, spending a few minutes of your time hanging out with me to review this product. Smash that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe, do all that stuff. That greatly helps out my channel and keeps us growing so we can be an Amazeballs retro gaming channel. So I do appreciate you guys. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom! Peace.